Happy Friday, June 12th, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this special edition of Screenplayers News. It finally happened. Sony showed us quite a bit at the event yesterday. Tons of games were announced. Some fell perfectly in line with our predictions, whereas others were a complete and utter surprise. I have to say that I was expecting a little bit more gameplay out of this event. There were a bit more trailers than what I would have liked to see in the end. Also, we finally know how the console looks like now, and oh boy, other than the sheer shape factor, there was another huge surprise. Before we get into the details, you should subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell down below for the best PlayStation and Xbox news and insights. Reviews for The Last of Us Part 2 are finally out, and the game got amazing scores all across the board, which is almost too good to be true for me. I cannot wait to play this game when it's officially out next Friday, 19th of June. Neil Druckmann, who is the game director, said that although chunks of the plot leaked, the true game ending did not. So if you were not sure about it, this, together with the amazing reviews, might actually encourage you to pick it up now. Finally, talking about the event, as there is a lot of stuff that we need to cover, I did put the timestamps down in the comments, so feel free to go ahead and skip to whichever part interests you the most. We finally know how the console looks like. This is not a huge surprise to me. As I stated in my previous video, I was inclined to believe that Sony would have showed it to us at this event. And in fact, they did. The first thing to mention here, just like the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5 will be a vertical console. I am no engineer, but I guess just like the Series X, the shape factor was probably dictated by the necessity of cooling the console down efficiently. Both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X can be laid down horizontally, although I would believe that you want to watch it because if you bury that thing deep into your media cabinet, you might restrict airflow. Maybe not the best of ideas. But let's talk about what I was not expecting. Well, no one really. There will be two versions of the PlayStation 5. A PlayStation 5 Base Edition and a PlayStation 5 Digital Edition. Like Microsoft did for this current generation with the Xbox One S, the only difference between the two machines seems to be the lack of an optical disc drive on the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition. You know what? I kind of like the Digital Edition better as it looks a little bit more slender than the one with the optical drive. The most striking thing is that no one knew. We all heard about a cheaper, less powerful Xbox Lockhart, but not a single rumor ever emerged about Sony releasing an old digital edition of the PlayStation 5. In terms of the reason for this, numbers speak clearly. You know, digital sales are actually increasing, and I think Sony did very well to borrow a page straight out of the Xbox playbook in this occasion. Of course, as we expected, there was no mention whatsoever about price, and I'm more and more inclined to believe now that the PlayStation 5 base consoles will probably launch for $499, and the digital edition might actually sit around the $450 mark. Sony also showed us a bunch of new hardware, a Pulse 3D headset, an HD camera, a media remote, and a docking charging station for up to 2 Dualsense controllers. Everything looks super sleek and has that same bitonal finish as the Dualsense and the console. Let's talk games, starting with the titles that we correctly predicted for this event. Horizon Forbidden West. They showed us a trailer. It looks amazing. The game's environment looks more rich and diverse than Zero Dawn. There are new machines, of course, to fight, and most exciting of all for me are the underwater scenes and ruins. I am really hoping that we get to do a lot of submarine exploration and fight against snapmaws and other aquatic machine life. What surprised me is that no release date was announced for the game, no gameplay was shown. I am starting to believe that this might look more like a 2021 release window. Demon's Souls by Blue Point Games. We called it, everyone knew. It was the internet's worst kept secret at this point. The very short trailer looks amazing. It's in collaboration with Sony Japan Studios, and once again, to my surprise, there was no launch window or gameplay shown. Gran Turismo 7, again, it was obvious. The game, of course, looks amazing. There was quite a bit of uninterrupted gameplay shown, which I appreciated so much. Interestingly though, no release date. Ratchet Clank Rift Apart, we called it. This family-friendly franchise is set to return, more colorful than ever before. This game really shows the benefits from the SSD speed in loading environments and new planets hyper fast. I also loved the ray tracing effect on Clank, and the action looks amazing. I cannot wait to play this one. No release date once again. Spiderman Miles Morales. It's safe to say that very few people were expecting Insomniac to be able to work on the Spider-Man sequel in time for that PlayStation 5 launch, and at the same time, work on Ratchet & Clank. If you go back to my initial prediction video, I was expecting quite the opposite. So I was expecting basically Ratchet & Clank to be a launch window title, and Spider-Man may be coming on 2021. One thing that I do find quite bizarre though, is that for Spider-Man we just saw a tease trailer, whereas for Ratchet & Clank we had a full, trailer with some gameplay. Resident Evil Village. Rumors have been circulating for a bit now, and they were correct, even the name was correct. I wasn't expecting to see this one yesterday because it's a title launching for 2021. I'm glad we did though. The game looks amazing. Capcom seems to take a little bit of a departure from the series and dive into what looks like European folklore this time round. There was a werewolf and witches and Chris Redfield as a bad guy? On the other hand, Resident Evil Village gave me some Resident Evil 4 vibes. I for sure can't wait to get my hands on this one. GTA 5 will be remastered for the PS5 and, of course, the Xbox Series X. A standalone version of GTA Online will be free for the first 3 months, exclusively to PlayStation 5 owners. I have to say, when I saw the Rockstar logo, I almost had a heart attack. I was like, hang on a minute, are they actually showing us GTA 6 this early? Jokes aside, it makes sense. GTA 5 still tops the charts, so it's understandable that Rockstar would want that stream of revenue on next-gen consoles. There were also a bunch of other great first-party exclusive surprises, such as the family-friendly Astrobot Playhouse and Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Housemarque, which was rumored some time ago to have signed a deal with Sony, announced a new IP, The Returnal. And I think this looks so interesting, but I would have liked to see more. In terms of second party, Square Enix showed up with Project Athia, which in my opinion looks super intriguing, and it will come out for the PlayStation 5 and PC. There was no mention of Xbox, maybe a timed exclusivity for Sony. Oddworld Inhabitants showed us Oddworld Soulstorm. In my mind, I tie that franchise with PlayStation, as I remember playing the first game on PS1 as a kid. Just like for Project Athia, this will come out on PS5 and PC. It's a timed exclusivity. An Xbox version is not clearly mentioned, but I'm pretty sure this game will be on Xbox as well after some time. Release date, it's 2020. Really quickly, here's the other third-party titles that were present at the event yesterday. NBA 2K1, sports title, looks cool. We didn't really see any gameplay at all. Release window, 2020. Hitman 3, releasing in 2021. Once again, we did not see a whole lot. Pragmata, this was just a trailer. It's a Capcom game. It looks sci-fi and potentially very intriguing. It won't be coming until 2022 though, so long time. Godfall, no surprises here. This game was announced a long time ago, gameplay leaked also a long time ago, and the release date for this one is 2020. Bethesda showed up with Deathloop, which looks silly and cool, and Ghostwire Tokyo, coming respectively in 2020 and 2021. Kena, Bridge of Spirits, honestly, this looks like a real gem. Among the more indie title, this is the one that got my attention. It will be on PC and a timed PS exclusives. It's supposed to be out in the 2020 holiday season. Stray, which is basically Cyberpunk meets the Aristocats. Jokes aside, looks cool and you can play, well, you guessed it, as a cat. Releasing for PlayStation 5 and PC and coming out in 2021. Solar Hash looks like a cool sci-fi colorful platformer, also coming out in 2021. Little Devil Inside. Interesting story this one. This game was supposed to release in 2016, then I did not hear about it anymore, and they showed it yesterday. It looks intriguing, it's a timed PS5 exclusive, and I guess Sony's money was the game changer for the developers here. No released date though. And finally, Bugsnax, which is a platformer where you eat bugs that look like burgers, ice creams, and all sort of delicious food. Weird. Coming 2020. What did we not see? Bloodborne. Various sources reported this week that Bluepoint Games was working on a PS5 remaster of Bloodborne as well as a PC port of the game, and that Sony would have announced the whole thing at the event yesterday. I am not surprised this one didn't happen. Just to reiterate, Bluepoint Game are a small studio. They were working on Demon's Souls remake, and quote-unquote, this was the most ambitious project for them yet. In my opinion, they could have not been able to work on a Bloodborne remaster at the same time. And B, PS5 event. I really, once again, don't think Sony would have announced, okay, a remaster for the PlayStation 5, but also a PC port of one of their exclusive at a PlayStation event. Well, I guess we'll see if this project turns out to be true in the future. Silent Hill soft reboot. You know, initially, I was doubtful. Then I started buying into it just because the rumors were so persistent. Now, kind of like Bloodborne. Wasn't there. We'll see if it's true. Potentially the near future. To my surprise, Activision, EA, and Ubisoft were not there. I kind of get the last two, but Activision? Call of Duty? Really? Activision, knock if you are there. Hello? Last but not least, Sony is replacing their ever so famous
"This is for the players"
with a new slogan for next generation, which is "Play has no limit." Well, I guess depending on our wallets. And as usual, ladies and gentlemen, the million-dollar question. Do you like the PlayStation 5? Were you expecting something else? What do you think of the games? Once again, are you satisfied or were you expecting something else? Let us know in the comment section down below or on Twitter at screenplayers_. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back this coming Sunday 14th of June with the Screenplayers podcast replay. This time was again about retro gaming. Wishing you a fantastic weekend. Happy gaming!